All right, here we go. Question number 21 from our 0314 homework number 6 in MyLab Math. And the instructions say solve. So here we have another radical equation. You can see we have the square root of 2x minus 1. Notice we also have a plus 2 on this side. And so the first step that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get this square root isolated. And that means we're going to need to move the plus 2 over. That'll make it a minus 2. And then we're going to have the square root of 2x minus 1 equals x minus 2. Now that we have the square root isolated, to get rid of the square root, we need to square it. Remember, the index of a square root is understood to be 2. And so that is the exponent that you have to use to get rid of the square root. But if I square this side, I have to square this side also. Notice that you have to square the entire side. You cannot square each term separately. All right, so the square and the square root are going to cancel, and that's going to leave us just 2x minus 1. But on the other side, in order to do x minus 2 quantity squared, that means we're going to have to do x minus 2 times itself, and that's going to be a binomial times a binomial, and that's going to indicate the four-letter F word. That's right, we're going to have to FOIL that. OMG. So here we go. Let's bring down the 2x minus 1, and then if we walk through the FOIL method, first, x times x gives me an x squared. On the outside, we get a minus 2x. On the inside, another minus 2x. And last but not least, negative 2 times negative 2 makes a positive 4. Okay, so now I need you to notice that our equation has gone from being a radical equation now to being a quadratic equation. Since we had the x squared show up, that makes it quadratic. And now, since it's quadratic, I need to set it equal to 0. So we're going to bring the 2x over and the minus 1 over so that we can set it equal to 0. All right, here we go. So we're going to have our x squared. I've got a negative 2x and a negative 2x. That makes a negative 4x. And the 2x that comes over becomes minus 2x. Okay, so this minus 4x came from combining like terms, and this minus 2x is from the 2x coming over, okay? And so then we have our plus 4, and our minus 1 comes over and makes a plus 1. And now we need to combine like terms one more time, and that's going to give us 0 equals x squared minus 6x plus 5. Now, the easiest way to solve a quadratic is by factoring, if it'll factor. And so this is a standard trinomial. We're going to try to factor it. If I read the signs, I can see they're both going to be negative. I'm going to need an x and an x for the x squared. And I'm going to need numbers that multiply to make 5 that add and make negative 6. And that's going to be negative 1 and negative 5, okay? Negative 1 times negative 5 is a positive 5. Negative 1 and negative 5 makes negative 6. So this does factor. And so now to finish it off, we're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So x minus 1 equals 0. If I move the minus 1 over, we get x equal 1. And x minus 5 equals 0. Moving the minus 5 over gives me x equal 5. Now, I got two solutions, and my gut tells me that one of these is probably not going to work in the original problem. Okay, so you do need to check these solutions. And so here's the check step. We need to go back to the original equation, which was square root of 2x minus 1 plus 2 equals x. And we're going to check the 1 first. So we need to replace both x's with 1's. And then we need to work this out, okay? So we're going to have the square root of 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Plus 2 equals 1. So the square root of 1 is 1. And 1 plus 2 equals 1. No, it doesn't. 1 plus 2 is 3, not 1. And so that means that the positive 1 doesn't check out. So the 1 is no good. Now we're going to check the 5. Now we're going to go in and check the 5. So I'm going to use my eraser. And erase. And erase. And so now we're going to check the 5. Plug in the 5 in for each x. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. And this side is 5. Okay. 9, the square root of 9 is 3. And 3 plus 2 is 5. That is true. And so this time we do get equality. 3 plus 2 is 5. So the 5 checks out. And so if I plug that in to my MyLab math, 5 is the only correct answer here. So just as a side note, when you are solving a radical equation and you end up with two solutions, most of the time one of the solutions is trash, and it's usually the small one, okay? About 95% of the time. So sometimes they are both trash, you get no solution, and sometimes they both work, okay? So you do need to check your answers just to make sure that you got the right answer, okay? So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.